So many storylines heading into Ironman, but there can only be one lead story, and it's Haiden Deegan. There's multiple ways to wrap up a championship, and for Haiden Deegan, the choice was simple.
Oh no, all I cared about on that line was destroying these dudes as bad as I could. I just wanted to annihilate everybody.
That was a whooping, and it tops off an interesting year of racing for the 18-year-old who wrapped up his first Pro Motocross Championship 3 motos early. Knowing that Haiden had a supercross track in his backyard, and knowing that Brian was willing to travel to Texas for an arena cross when Haiden was on a 50, had me thinking that supercross would come easy, and the success would come there first, and motocross might take a couple years to get to full speed. I mean, let's be honest, he wasn't an amateur killer, like Mike Alessi, Adam Cincerulo, or Jet Reynolds. He was good. He won, but there were no flashing lights indicating that this was coming this early. But here we are, the final round of Danger's sophomore motocross season, and it is clear there is nobody on his level, and he proved it from the first moto of the season at Paula to the championship-clinching moto at Budds Creek. The debate is over. Haiden Deegan is elite. The Supercross success is coming. He's the sole favorite to win on either coast in 2025. Why? Because we now know, OMG, he was injured before Supercross this year and came in limping, protective, a Diet Coke version of himself, and he fought through the mess of a season and came up just short of the title against Supercross newcomer Tom Vial, which had to sting. Danger had a supercross track in his backyard. Tom learned it last Tuesday, and Haiden had to watch someone else win his supercross championship. But he ended the season in Salt Lake City with a win at the East-West Showdown, and that was a glimpse of what was to come a few weeks later when the gate dropped at Paula. A new championship, a reset, a do-over somewhat, with a little bit of built-up rage, and Haiden Deegan took it out on everyone, on the track and on the podium all summer long. Crashes, first turn flips, lapper bikes on landings. He faced it all dramatically, and for a season that felt spicy every single week, it wasn't on paper. Levi Kitchen, Chance Hymas, and Ty Masterful had breakout summers. Tom and Joe Show had moments, but Haiden proved he could beat them every which way. From the front, from the back, upside down, he just kept winning, and when the dust settled, his biggest strengths were consistency and handling the moment. Two things you need to succeed at the next level. In a class of chaos, he was at the front every single moto, and when it was time to close the deal and write it in, he delivered his best performance of the season. A whooping. Perfect. Well, sort of. Forget the fall. He sent a message to the future that he's coming, and his wiring is to smash these dudes.
Oh no, all I cared about on that line was destroying these dudes.
Including you 450 boys. See you soon. So when will we see him move up to the big bad 450? I think next summer. He says he's defending. Nah. But let's talk about something other than the timeline, the look. What will it look like? I've heard from some that this won't translate to a 450. The locked wrist squeeze everything out of the motorcycle style of riding will never work on the big bike. Ryan Villopoto, the most underrated champ in the sport's history. Remember him? Yeah. That worked. It wasn't always pretty or perfect, but it was relentless and forceful. And if you look to the history of the sport, you'll see that many different styles of rider with many different techniques have been successful and champions. Hurlings, Prado, Geischer, Cairoli, none like the other, all made it work. Jeremy, Ricky, Chad and James, the Ryans, Dungy and Villopoto, Kenny, Eli, Jet, Chase, all champs, all different, proving that it's not the form and technique that gets it done, it's the mind. And did you all watch this fool all summer? You think it won't translate? He's gonna be just fine. Why? Because he's already executing the playbook that will make him complete. Quick story, the day I met my TV coach, Coach Tony, a legend, he told me that as a commentator, I will always be me, but I can take little pieces from the greats and add them to my playbook and push my range in any way I needed to, depending on who I wanted to study and what I wanted to learn. I did what he asked, dove into film, and took a huge leap as a broadcaster very quickly. I stayed true to who I was and kept it authentic, but attached new things and new methods and got myself as complete as I could. So here's Danger on a motorcycle, only 18 years old, and he's learning from the former champs in person, riding with Eli in the offseason, with Kenny in season, learning sand from Chad Reed before Southwick, and of course soaking up everything he possibly can from that mental monster, Cooper Webb. He will learn on the bike and in the mind from champions of this sport, champions from other sports and disciplines, and he will be complete. He'll ride a 450 great. He'll be an absolute menace to deal with on and off the track, and it's clear as day that deep down he has no respect for anyone, and you kind of have to be that way to be a 450 champ. Don't let Jet's humble persona fool you. He's a straight killer too, competitive on another level, and I am beyond grateful and excited to cover these two the next 7 to 10 years. I mean, it's official, to me anyway. We have two super freaks in this sport, and they're just pups, and it's just getting started. Now, really quickly, before all you danger dudes think I'm one of you now or something because I'm giving respect, I still think his interviews are cringy, and he's kind of disrespectful at the wrong time, most of the time, but I don't want him to change. Imagine him standing up there thanking his sponsors and talking about how his start was and how he felt mid-moto and blah, blah, blah. No, Haiden, please keep talking so I can keep talking. The 450 class is in desperate need of some SMX. You would think with Jet being out of the class, it would have been less predictable, parody, but oh no, that's not the case. This thing has turned copy-paste, and I think it's time for some Speedways, 20-minute motos, and something that feels supercrossy. Chase Sexton did his thing at Budds Creek, going 2-1 on a day that showed us a little bit of everything. Patience early, a mid-moto push, a tip over or two, and then a 10-minute burst of racing that at a minimum matches the legendary late moto rides by Eli Tomac and Blake Baggett. Now with 5 straight overall wins and a hometown race to clinch his first motocross title, remember he never won this on a 250, and Chase will take a quick breath, then go head-to-head with Jet Lawrence in a 3-round cage match that we need right now. Seriously, this class got stale. I mean, it's almost exactly the same every single week. Hunter shreds, he's a piece or two away. AP is the real deal. He's close to winning, but just can't force it to happen. Ombre and Jay Cooper in there a little. Bring on Charlotte. 70 more minutes, then we can get all the old boys on the gate. Eli, Kenny, Coop, let's roll. Bring on Charlotte.
Uppers and downers. Uppers and downers.
All right, this week on Uppers and Downers, I actually have a couple uppers and a couple downers. I want to start with my man J-Law. Okay, apparently Jason Lawrence, I guess he watches this show.
So many storylines heading into the second motos at Dade City, but there can only be one lead story. And it is Jason Lawrence on the top of the box in a race for the first time in almost 16 years.
All right, so I know the show is growing. It's good to know that J-Law is on board. Next up is Ken Roxon. He's an upper for me. He's racing 250s this weekend, and I don't know what to expect. Like, if he gets third, okay, he's Ken Roxon. Like, yeah, he could do that. But if he gets, like, 8th or 9th, yeah, okay, that kind of feels right, too. So I don't know where this is going to go. Flip a coin right in the middle, but I want to see Kenny up front just because it'll be a cool look to see him on that Suzuki, which is, pretty cool from his youth. He was on a Suzuki when he was young. So it'll be cool to see the 94 on yellow. Also a huge upper to Drew Adams. He's making his pro debut. I'm stoked for that. I've got a chance to watch him all year in the amateurs. All these amateur kids know that he's the baddest dude right now. They've all watched it all year too. So they're all going to be anxiously waiting to see how Drew does in his pro debut. So good luck, Drew. That's my final upper of the week. And then for downers, it's just the injuries, man. Last week I saw Colt Nichols on the side of the track. Hate to see that for him. He's just trying to get in there and get back going. That sucks. Dean Wilson was on screen at one point, DNF, and he got Mark Finnis, who had a bad first turn crash and kind of ruined the momentum that he's been bringing to the races. And then Max Anstie would be the last downer. This little outdoor experiment just hasn't really worked all the way for him, and I thought maybe it would, but it doesn't change my opinion on him going into Supercross. I think he's one of the favorites to win either Coast 250, whichever one Haiden Deegan's not on. Tough go for Max Anstie in the summer, so he's my downer from Budds Creek. All right, hope you all had a good time, enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching this show. If you liked it, press the like button. And if you want to subscribe, then press the subscribe button. Share it with your friends, with your family, and grandma. Make sure you send it to grandma. Grandmas love everything Main Event Moto does. All you Motoheads out there, we are still rocking and rolling at Main Event Moto. You can go to patreon.com/Main Event Moto. We do 2 shows a week now, and both of them are live streamed. Patreon.com/maineventmoto, and we will catch you on the next show.